You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Folks, Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There are those things that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show is a family that loves you, but doesn't judge you, at least not as harsh as the rest of your family, because you're here being smarter, learning stuff, getting educated, as it were, learning the knowledge. This is what we should call the podcast of superior knowledge. Refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives, or else go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Facebook.com/Chris Voss, and YouTube.com/Chris Voss. Today we have an amazing young lady on the show. We're going to be talking about her new book. Came out March 15th, 2022, called Things to Remember Before I Forget, My Plan for My Care. Out, you can find it wherever fine books are sold. Niki Tucker, one of the authors, joins us on the show, and you can find, when you Google the book, it's under Jenny Tucker as well as the author. So we're going to get into it with her. We're going to find out more about her details and why she wrote this book and all that good stuff. Niki holds a master's degree in social work and is a licensed social worker with certified care manager. She runs a senior services agency in Portland, Oregon, providing in-home care and care management to vulnerable adults. She and her daughter Jenna Tucker are a CNA. Sorry, I got a computer camera in my way. Jenna Tucker is a CNA, and together they wrote this journal to help people plan ahead for their own care needs. Welcome to the show, Niki. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you as well. Give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
C-STAR, that's SEASTAR, seniorservices.com.
There you go. So give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside this new book.
So the what?
The 30,000 overview of what's inside your book.
What's inside my book? Okay. The book is a guided journal. It's not something you're going to sit and read. It's something you're going to fill out. And the purpose of it is to make your plan for your own care. Take control back over your life. So that if you end up with a traumatic brain injury or dementia or something else where you're not able to verbalize what type of care you want, you've already laid it out for the people providing your care. That's kind of the overview of the entire book.
There you go. Well, that's an important thing to have, right?
Yes,
we were talking about before the show. I know a lot more people are living longer and they're having aging issues, dementia, Alzheimer's. There's people that do have brain injuries. I've had some friends that have fallen in their old age and gotten some brain injuries that affect them in their ability to move around and noises and stuff like that. So it's important to have these, even if you're a young person, you ride a motorcycle, you get a brain injury and you're in a coma, people can know how and what to do with you. Right. And how you want your care to be. Does it include what's that thing that they talk about in wills and stuff? I know I have one after COVID that talks about what should happen if you are brain dead, if you want them to unplug you or not.
Right. So there is a part in there about what type of care you would want in certain situations, like if you were had a terminal disease or were unconscious. But these are not legal documents, and we state that in the book. This is not a legal document. It's just to let people know what you want. But we do encourage people, please see an attorney and get those legal documents drawn up as well.
There you go. Those are important to have so that people know what to do. The only problem is as soon as I declared that I want to be put down as soon as I'm brain dead, my employees keep coming trying to figure out how to unplug me. So evidently I've been brain dead for a while. But we all know that. What prompted you to write this book?
It was kind of funny because my daughter and I were working on a mother-daughter guided journal where we answered questions about our life and growing up. And I was getting ready for bed one night after working on it. And I got in bed, and I hate to wear pajama bottoms. It's just a thing of mine. I hate to wear them. And I'm getting in bed, and I thought, I need to tell my daughter not to put me in pajama bottoms when I go to bed when she's taking care of me 20 years from now. And then I kind of laughed and thought, well, she's not going to remember that 20 years from now. I should write it down. And then literally it's like a light bulb just went off on my head. It's like, and I jumped out of bed and I woke up and I said, Jenna, we've got to write a book. And we were up till 3 a.m. coming up with, well, what about this? And what about that? And all these different ideas for things that we would like to know if we're taking care of somebody that we'd like to know about them.
There you go. And that's good to have. I mean, nowadays, because, people don't think about these things. They're kind of macabre to think about, right? One of the things I don't like about these discussions is it's kind of like, well, let's talk about you when you die,
That's part of the book too, unfortunately.
I'm looking forward to you being dead, and let's talk about how cool it's going to be after you're gone. And it's just, there's some macabreness to it. It's just kind of depressing, I find.
Yeah, and we ask where the treasure's buried. That's one of the
questions. Am I in the will or not?
Exactly.
That sort of stuff.
Exactly.
How much do I get from this whole thing here?
Right.
It's just I saw a lot of this sort of issues in the mortgage business, where people would seize their parents' home because they were, quote unquote, they couldn't live on their own. Although 9 times out of 10 I found they were. It was just usually an asset grab usually. Right. And grandma can't function well. Well, I've talked to grandma on the phone. She functions pretty well. She came in and signed her papers and stuff. Wow. So I've seen a lot of interesting things happen with fights between siblings over inheritance and money and
all that.
Throwing the parents in the old home, folks, as far as I'm concerned, sometimes way too early. And, because grandpa has $30,000 in his equity. So we should, he can go early.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the questions we ask too is, what type of care, do you want to stay at home with a caregiver? Do you want to be in a facility? I look at these senior facilities. I'm in and out of them all the time. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, they've got food and they've got house cleaning and they've got activities. I'm thinking, where do I sign up? But some people are like, I want to stay home with my furniture and my things around me. And so that's one of the things that we don't know what people want until they've written it down or told us.
Yeah, I know my mom, it's important for her to have her care in the home. No one wants to die in a hospital or be in a hospital bed, unless it's, completely necessary. And she also has some special insurance that pays for her care. Is that really good?
It is. We see a lot of people who don't have that, and it's expensive. But when you want to go and live in a facility and you don't have money in savings, but you've got that long-term care policy, that's a golden ticket.
I really think it is, or at least I hope it is. The insurance companies are kind of a pain these days.
They are.
When you ask them to pay out, but it builds it in so that she can stay in her home longer. I feel the same way. My grandmother died in her home. And it's just better to at home. I hate hospitals, doctors' offices with passion.
Yeah.
In fact, so her having that access, knowing that she wants above all things to try and live in her home as long as she can and die in her home, that's important to her. And so she's communicated that. She's invested, over decades for the service to take care of her. And it's really important. My sister, of course, she took care of my sister for the longest time when my sister developed MS and started falling apart. And once it got to the point where, my sister required 2 people to help her with the bathroom and help her get showered, you have to move to a medical facility. There's just no way you can take care of people sometimes once they get to that point. And so, my sister has to live in one of those nursing homes, and they're not always fun. She's been in several different ones, and all sorts of issues and employee issues and personnel issues and number of nurses. And so it's not fun. And being able to stay in your home is way more comfortable than, eating hospital food, I guess. I don't know.
Well, and one of those things, Chris, when people move into those, and that's kind of what spurred this on too, my daughter in memory care, but when we would take someone on home care, people would come to our attention that needed care. And they couldn't tell us what they like. They couldn't tell us what they like to eat or what time they want to go to bed. And so we just make up a care plan based on, well, we think they might go to bed at 8:00, or we think they like corn, so we're going to give them corn. The book is the purpose, so you can write down ahead of time. So when you go into that home, they've got all that written down. They don't have to guess at what food you like or your bedtime routine. It's all in place, and people can be cared for the way they want to be.
Yeah. Mine says I want tacos and pizza 24/7.
I had a client that I was told when I'd go visit him to bring him McDonald's, and I visit him once a month, and he was nonverbal, but I'd walk in that door with that little golden Arches bag, and he would just light up. He would be so excited to see that. But if we didn't know that ahead of time, he would have never gotten McDonald's again.
Oh, wow. Well, that's really important to know. I mean, you got to have some of those goodies you sneak in from that hospital food and whatever.
Right.
So there you go. Now, tell us some more details in the book. And you recommend that everyone should do it probably at any age to, if something happens to you, you get in a car accident, et cetera, et cetera. What are some of the chapters in the book? What do they discuss and things?
So one of them is a chapter called About Me. And it's just very basic. Who am I? What do I like? What are my preferences? What's my personality like? Am I an introvert? Am I an extrovert? So it's a little bit about you and your personality. That's the first chapter. Another chapter is, like I said, foods. What are your food preferences? What vegetables do you like? What ones do you dislike? What fast food do you like? What is your preference to drink? And so it's all about food allergies. Are you allergic to anything? A third one is medical information. It's kind of frustrating. As a care manager, I'll get a client and I'll take them to the hospital and they'll want to do an MRI and they'll say, can we do an MRI? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if there's any metal in this person's body. And so that's one of the questions that's in the book is medical history. Can you have an MRI? Another one's immunizations. Immunizations are a hot topic right now. Some people don't want them. Some people give me every jab you can. So one of the questions is, what immunizations have you had? Which ones do you want to continue to have? And so people, again, can decide for themselves what they want.
There you go. That's important. It's important to know these things, most definitely. And then how you want your care. Maybe you should have like you know how Van Halen used to have like that list of things they wanted on their show rider? And they would do it as a test to see if people actually read it. Yes. And like I think Ozzy had a thing where he only wanted brown M&Ms. So someone had to go through a whole bag of M&Ms, pull out the brown ones, separate them, in the bowl. That's how they knew the stage is going to work. I think it came out at one time the stage crashed or collapsed, and they realized that the promoters weren't paying attention, and so they're like, we need to. If they'll pay attention to the basics, these things, they'll pay attention to everything else. Hopefully, so that's what I would probably have in mind. I'd be like, I want just the red M&Ms to be put in my bowl every day.
Right. Yeah. And you can.
I won't eat them, but I'll just make sure that. Yeah.
But you know that they know you read it and they know what's going on.
That or I'll just be an asshole about the whole thing.
Oh no.
I'll be like, I want red M&Ms on every third day, but every fourth day I want green.
Well, I got to tell you, you're going to drive a caregiver crazy. Then I can already see that right now. I don't want to take care of Chris. You take care of Chris.
Yeah, and I only want hot caregivers too. Yeah.
And we get that. We get these.
Do you really?
We get these older men who are like, I want a young caregiver to come give me my shower. And you have to say, no.
Oh, a shower. I didn't even think about that. What am I doing?
We've had those requests.
Yeah. All I know is like Marlon Brando, he had a really great nurse and he ended up marrying her. I think he gave her everything too. So she cashed in on that deal. Yeah, and but you want to stay alive, and nothing like a hot nurse to keep you alive. I remember my dad. He called me one time, and he was really depressed. He got in the hospital, and he turned total gray, and got all of his fluids were wrong, and so they had to reanimate him. But I remember he had a pretty fearful thing going on of his voice, and he called me up, and so I started talking about hot nurses and if he'd hit on the nurse. I was just doing a rap.
Right.
And that made him cheered up. Yeah. He cheered up, and suddenly he was laughing. He was happy, and he's married. He's not gonna do anything. And but just getting the guy cheered up in his life. Sometimes
Yeah,
that can help.
it
So,
does.
what else in the book do we need to tease out that maybe we should cover?
Well, and that's interesting that you mentioned what he was scared of, because that is a section in there's what are you afraid of?
Mm.
Because we need, if somebody has dementia and there's a thunderstorm, it's important for us to know that they're afraid of thunder so that we can react accordingly, that they're not misbehaving because of just no reason at all, but the thunder is frightening them. And so there's a section on what scares you or what makes you happy, what cheers you up. It asks about childhood memories that are important. It asks about loss in people's lives. What have they lost? So just a lot of different questions so we can really get a complete, 360-degree picture of who this person is and what's important to them.
It might help. It might help when the person gets Alzheimer's dementia, because I've heard different things like, what was a good example of this? It was, who's the guy who sung the song, the Italian crooner?
Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Bennett had this thing where he got Alzheimer's and he couldn't remember hardly anything. But if they gave him a mic and put him on stage and played the piano or one of his songs, he would kick right into gear and sing them.
Right.
And so, I would imagine having some of this data, maybe if you're a caregiver who wasn't a family member of this person, you could look through this data and maybe you could find stuff that would help, maybe calm them, play their favorite music, help make their experience, if I had dementia, one of my favorite bands is Metallica and Rush. I'd love to have, that played every now and then.
Right.
Like, I might come out of dementia long enough to headbang, or do air guitar.
Music is amazing. I have had clients completely nonverbal who don't say a word, and then we get music therapists in and they are singing along. And I'm thinking, where did that come from? It comes from a different part of the brain, and music is just, it's almost like a miracle to see what happens. But it's funny because the songs that we sing with our clients are things like, My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean or Bicycle Built for Two. And I can't help but wonder, what are going to be the songs, 30, 40 years from now that
it's gonna be dirty gangster rap that people are going to be like, I don't want to hear that. What do you say?
Right.
Talking bad about women. What was that word?
Right.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
Yeah, but shaking booties in the rest home, I guess.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Future.
But it's amazing to see how people respond to music.
Yeah. I should look into what we're doing for my sister in the music realm of that. I know she loves music, and there's music she loved. So I don't know, maybe we should look into what that's about and stuff. So yeah. That might be something I should look into.
We try to get music therapy for most of our clients just because we've just seen really good things with it.
There you go. Well, that's important. So let's talk about some of the service you offer on your website. Is this open to a lot of other folks out there, or how does it work?
So I own a home care agency. And so we provide caregivers for people who want to stay home. We'll provide a caregiver in the home to take care of them. Everything from just companionship to assistance with showering, bathing, dressing, medication administration. We also do kind of a specialized service we have is we do outings where we take clients out of their home or the facility. We take them to medical appointments or social outings. We're in Portland, so we're near the coast. We've taken clients to the coast for the day.
Oh, wow.
And we have wheelchair vans, so we can take people who are in wheelchairs also.
Oh, wow.
And then we provide care management services, which it's kind of like the things you or your mom are doing for your sister, where you provide the care for her. You're making sure that she has good caregivers. You're making sure she's in a good facility. You're arranging for music therapy. And that's what our care managers do. They coordinate services for seniors. So those are the services we offer in my agency.
There you go. And people can reach out to you for help and stuff like that. Do you do consulting or coaching at all or anything like that?
We do consulting. I get calls from people who just need some help of, what do I do for mom, or how can I do this? And so we'll talk to them and kind of walk them through the steps.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's, these are the things that we have to deal with. And, it's sad to watch people disappear and who they were disappear, and they forget you, which is really weird, because you're just like, me. I remember there's a time where my sister would call me once a week and wish me happy birthday. And I remember pushing back and being like, Delana, it's not my birthday. Are you okay? And then finally I had to learn, I kind of learned this on my own. I made it up, and we've since had some caretakers like yourself on the show that talked about this. But one of the things I had to learn was sometimes it's easier just to play along to make it easier for them. And so I would always, once a week, oh, thanks for my birthday, Diane. Oh, it's so wonderful that you care, yada, yada, yada. Because when I told her that it wasn't my birthday, that would be very upsetting to her. And then she would be confused and upset and anxiety. And so it was better just to play along. And, I'm not going to win any wars, being right.
And you're right. We have a client that the son visits his mom every couple of weeks. And every time he visits her, he keeps telling her dad's dead. And every time it's a brand new trauma to her because she can't remember that her husband died. And we had to coach him on, don't do that.
Yeah.
Into her world.
Yeah. They're very true. Very true. My sister has the same thing. Every now and then she'll bring up my father's passing and where's dad? One of the other things that's really hard is sometimes she'll be like, when do I get to go home? That's the other kicker that kicks you in the feels. She'll be like, when do I get to go home from this place? When am I getting out? And my mom will have to deal with that process. So, what can you do? What can you do? These are the things that we deal with. But I'm glad you put out this book. Do you see you putting out other books that maybe can help people through these dilemmas of aging?
I really don't, because there's a lot of good books out there, a lot of other ones that deal with other topics than mine, but also to do with aging. My daughter and I are actually working on a children's book now, so we'll see how that goes, kind of at the other end of the lifespan.
Nice. A children's book. Is it going to deal with the same sort of topics or maybe something?
Oh, yep, just something fun, something different. I have 2 grandchildren. They're 3 grandchildren, but my grandsons are 2 and 3, and it's kind of geared towards that age and just kind of some fun stuff that we're working on.
Yeah, there you go. It's probably a little too young to give them the option of, why doesn't mommy remember who I am anymore?
Yeah, kind of a little bit.
We probably shouldn't share that with 5-year-olds yet. Give them some time before you ruin the rest of their life.
Right. Yeah, that's a hard one. That's a hard one to grasp.
Yeah. Why? What's the horror of getting old? Yeah. It's bad enough they're dealing with Santa Claus and the monster under the bed and all that stuff. Why pile on at that point?
No.
Besides, you got to pace yourself at the horrors you're gonna find.
There's plenty of time to learn about, like you said, all the horrors that are lying ahead for you.
Time to have your shit scared out of you for the rest of your life.
Right.
But no, this is good. My mom, she has her folder of things that she needs taken care of if she were to become incapacitated, maybe a coma. So she has things that she has this folder where she has things that medications that she needs to be on, bills that need to be paid. I think she has most stuff automated, but so you have to make sure that the plates are spinning and everything. Part of it is my sister's care because my mother cares for my sister, so someone's got to take that over as well. And so is this stuff you recommend as well, the financial ends of it, the paying bills, and then of course she has in the folder what to happen if the unthinkable happens, of course.
Right. It has in the book, there's information about, how are bills paid? Are they set on auto? What are the passwords to log into those so people can log in and pay that for it? My mother, thankfully, when my mother passed, she had her computer and she lived alone. So everything I just logged into the computer. All I had to do was click the thing and it just popped right up. It made it very easy for me.
She probably didn't even have passwords.
It was just all
there you go. Is there a way to ordain somebody as the person to go in and delete your web browser history? Asking for a friend.
I have a friend like that. I've already told her a couple things she needs to do when I'm gone.
I need to have 2 computers set up. I need to have 2 computers set up. The one that the family can get into to find out my YouTube money and my accounts and stuff, and then just I don't know that computer over there.
Exactly. That's why you clear your browser every night before you go to bed, Chris.
Oh, that's there you go. There you go. I'll make a note of that. There you go. So yeah, these discussions are how do you advise people on how to have these discussions? Because I hate having them. I love my mom. I hate talking to her in the sense of like if she's not here or if she dies, I really want her to live to like 150, and she doesn't want to live to 150. Evidently, I can't even talk her into living to 100. But I mean, she's the one who's got to do it. But how do we broach these things without being so uncomfortable? Because it's uncomfortable for me, and I don't like it.
I think that's one of the things this book helps with, because it does ask a lot of those uncomfortable questions.
Okay.
If
so you let the book handle the uncomfortable things, like,
and then you go through it with her. Say, hey, Mom, you put this. Do you want to expand on this, or do you want to talk about this? Can we have a discussion about it?
Oh, there you go.
Giving them a book to write down the thoughts. There's also a diary piece to it, so like they can write when they're filling out their section. There's a part where they can say how they were feeling on that day. So it's kind of a journal too, and it just kind of really opens the door for conversations to have with your family about what you're writing.
There you go. Does it give instructions on how to cut other family members out of the will that are the shitheads in the family?
No, it does not.
I've got a few of
I need to do another version.
Yeah, could you do an updated second book for me? How to make sure that you don't take care of the bad family members, and then how to identify them, how to strike them from the will, and also make sure they don't show up at the funerals. So
I got lucky. I just had one older brother, and he and I, there was no fighting. It's like, here's the money. I was the executor. I would send him, this is what I spent the money on. Here's how much is, and he wouldn't even, I do spreadsheets, these elaborate spreadsheets of where the money was going. He never even looked at me. He says, I trust you.
Yeah, the executor of the will, I mean, that's a lot to take on. I've had some friends who had to take it on, and sometimes you got to pay bills, even though you don't have, you got to take care of certain things.
Right.
And so, there's that, knowing how to navigate probate, knowing how to navigate, I guess, an attorney or reading of the will, all that stuff. It's hard. Do you talk about that in the book, or is that maybe now in the second book we're establishing?
It's a little bit on there. Basically, it's just, do you have a will? Who's the executor?
Yeah.
Where is it kept? We don't go into, like, again, we can't.
Some of those are probably attorney related, huh?
Yeah. We refer people to talk to an attorney and get their help on that.
Yeah. Always consult your attorneys.
Yes, exactly. And we're not a medical provider. That's the other one. We're not medical providers, so we're not giving medical advice either.
Yeah. And that, that's something that's important too. My mom takes certain medications for her health, and she wants to make sure that those are taken. I have to take magnesium on a daily basis, or my whole bowel system decides to turn to cement. I've learned that the hard way in my old age. And so I have to make sure my magnesium's up. And so make sure you give me magnesium every day, maybe an 8-ball. I don't know what that means. Can of Coke. There you go. Maybe a Mountain Dew, maybe
Dr.
a Red
Pepper.
Bull. Dr. Pepper. Oh, there you go. I was a big Dr. Pepper fan in high school. We filled a hole. They installed, they didn't have pop in our high school back in the day. This is how old I am. It was before they invented pop, clearly. And and they were like, they had a big vote of whether or not we should have pop machines. And so we finally, after fighting and arguing with high school for years, got pop machines. And so we were always high on Dr. Pepper caffeine, and probably a diabetic delivery level of sugar. And so we filled a whole high school locker room with Dr. Pepper cans to celebrate that win. And that was a lot of cans. Now I look back,
that's a lot of cans.
Yeah, we even made the yearbook where we got a picture of us in front of this, and I'm just sitting there looking at how skinny I was, and I'm like, now I know why I'm fat, because I drank all that Mountain Dew.
Don't even start. That's the worst thing. To me, that's the worst thing about getting old, is that I can't eat like I used to. It just
I can't drink like I used to. I can't do anything like I used to. Everything hurts, or if it doesn't hurt, it will hurt tomorrow.
Exactly.
I should put that on a coffee cup. I'm old now. Everything hurts, and everything that doesn't hurt will hurt tomorrow.
I have to keep reminding myself I'm not 34 anymore, because I want to lift and I want to do something. I'm like, Niki, stop. You're not 34 anymore. Yeah,
my mom's like that. She's like, I'm going to go prune the trees. Okay. I'm going to go put a ladder up against the tree and climb up it and prune it. You're like, you're in your 80s, Mom. Come on, please don't.
It's easy to forget.
Yeah, it's hard to admit you're not young anymore. I get it.
I just watched Betty White on a TV show the other day, and she said this line, and it just struck a chord with me. She said, even though you're old, you're still you.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, that was just like, even though I'm 64, it's still me inside. And I forget that I'm 64. I'm still me inside. And so I think even though your mother's 80, she's still her inside.
Yeah. Yeah. You still want to be in your youthful brain and you run around and do whatever. But yeah, some things don't go well. That's how I got hernias. So, I was like, I'm young enough to lift. My body's like, no, you're not. Fuck you.
Yeah.
There you go. So as we go out, anything more you want people to know about your book and the work that you do?
I would just really encourage people to take a look at it and write these things down so that people know, so that you don't end up being cared for by people who don't know what you want. Even though they go, oh, well, I'm married, my husband knows me. My husband does not know that I cannot stand canned peas. And so he might serve me canned peas one night and I'm like, oh, I hate those things. Don't give those to me. So you might think, well, I don't need to write this down because my loved ones know all this stuff. Trust me, they don't.
Yeah. Plus, if you piss off your husband enough, he probably will serve you the canned peas just in spite.
Yeah, probably so.
That's probably what I do.
Yeah, probably
She's looking at me going, I hate these. And I'm like, they're the only thing to eat, honey. Yeah. Remember that one time in 1982 where you remember the thing I did in 1986? Yeah. Canned peas for you. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that, folks. That's not nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, just pull the plug and
that. And the other thing I want to leave with people is get your advance directives done. Get your healthcare, get your financial power of attorney. Every new client I have, I say, who's your healthcare power of attorney? Who's your financial power of attorney? Those are the two most important documents you can do, even more than a will, because somebody will figure out your money. You'll be gone. What do you care? But your advance directives are the most important thing.
Yeah, like I recently went in for hernia surgery, and man, the hospital made a big deal about having those two documents.
Yeah.
And not only did they make there was like a whole thing I had to fill out. Not only did they make a big deal of it, they were like, well, if you don't have them, we'll take care of it for you. Wink, wink. Yeah. Yeah. Those body parts are worth a lot of money in resale. So, well, if you want us to be your power of attorney, we'll be the one who decides whether we should unplug you.
Yeah. That's the thing. You don't have those. You're going straight to guardianship, which I've been a guardian before too. Wow. And guardians, they know nothing about you and they'll make decisions. I mean, they try and make the best they can, but they don't know. They don't know what you want.
I expect the hospital would just be like, how healthy is that liver he's got there? Yeah, just unplug him. Yeah, it's more, and I've actually heard that if you do have a donor card, they are more interested in.
Oh my gosh.
Not carrying through with you. So make sure you have your instructions, and the other thing is too, is like one of my things is I don't want to, if I'm brain dead, much more than I am now already. I don't want to be resuscitated. Let me go. I don't want to, my sister lives in a horrible life with MS and dementia in a way that I would never want to live. And, in fact, I've instructed my mother that in my will, it says she has to place a pillow over my face and take me out before that happens. So I think that's legal, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Well, if it's in the will, it's in the contract. Shouldn't that be legal?
Not unless you want an 80-year-old woman to be sent to jail, Chris.
I mean, the judge is going to be like, you put him out of his misery. Now none of us have to listen to his crap on his podcast. Yeah, I think that was justifiable homicide right there.
I don't think so.
I think that's how that would work. Judge will be like, I've heard his podcast. No, we don't need to bring him back. We've had enough of that. 16 years and 2,500 episodes. Let's move on. Anyway, guys, well, thank you very much for coming to the show. We really appreciate it. Give us any .coms and final pitch out for people to order up your book as we go out.
CSTAR, SCASTAR, seniorservices.com, and the book is available on Amazon.
There you go. Well, it's been fun to talk about some of these dark, morbid things, but they're necessary. Life and death. It was funny. We had somebody talking about taxes earlier on the show, and I made the joke about death and taxes are the two main keys. Now we've covered death.
Covered them both.
So we covered both in one day. That's what we do on the Chris Voss Show, folks. Order up her book wherever fine books are sold. It's called Things to Remember Before I Forget, My Plan for My Care. Niki Tucker and Jenna Tucker, out March 15th, 2022. In fact, recently I started thinking about the podcast. So one of the interesting things about the podcast is it's designed to continue into perpetuity. The YouTube, we've been on there for YouTube for 18 years. And unless someone stops the account, it will keep it will keep showing the videos of all the wonderful people we've had on there, and it's kind of a time capsule now of people that have passed, people that are 16, 18 years younger that were on our first shows that I send in videos. I'm like, boy, you really have aged. And so I think one of the things I've been thinking about recently is trying to make sure that the podcast episodes that have been produced would continue into perpetuity. They will on YouTube as long as Google doesn't ever suspend the account, which I don't know why they would, or they go out of business or sell or something, which I don't think they ever would at this pace. But we're trying to think of ways to make the podcast keep running in perpetuity.
Nice.
So that people can always access it. And that way we can be talking to some people 50 years from now or something. I don't know.
Wow. That's kind of weird to think about.
Yeah. It's something I've thought about because this is my one true love in life, and next to my dogs and family. Well, some of my family, let's put it that way. They won't be named. But you know, I would kind of like to have that. So I'm gonna read your book and make a plan.
All right. Sounds great.
There you go. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, and you see why it's important to think about these things. Maybe you want to be buried in your Chevrolet car or something. I don't know. Some people do that. Thanks for tuning in. There you go. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys